Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Tonight, we gonna let it out. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it out.
Hey guys, sorry. Hey guys, welcome in. My voice was gone. Haven't been on in a couple of days. You could tell. But welcome in, everybody. If you guys haven't already been able to tell from my screen over here, you guys can look at your comments now. I don't know how to make them bigger. I could probably figure that out. I'm sure there's a way to do it, or they're just like testing it right now. So I'm kind of excited about it though. So welcome in. So it's good to see you guys. I did take a couple of days off like I said I was going to. I wasn't going to take any days off, and then my body was just like, yep, you need a couple days. So Vincent's mom even wrote him and was like, no live. And I'm like, I know, right? So I was like, I better get back on there before people start to really worry where I'm at. So we're going to cover some Idaho tonight. I've been going down an Elliot Rodger rabbit hole of sorts. I didn't know much about his case before tonight, and now I know more than I thought I ever would. So I'm going to tell you guys what I've learned, and we're going to learn together. So welcome in, Cyber Warrior. Hey, Ladybug. It's good to see you guys. Hey, Willows. Hey, Kathy. You just had 2 tornadoes come over. Are you okay? Do you have a storm shelter? My goodness. Hey, Captain. We used to, our storm shelter was the hallway. We had a crawl space. I guess we could have went under the crawl space. My mom wasn't going under there. Hey, Mia Mori. Hey, Lenora. Yeah, she's like, I'm not doing it. Hey, baby girl. Now, my best friend in the whole world, she hated storms. Any kind of storm, she would be in like the basement. She had a basement, and she'd be like on the west side or whatever it was, huddled in. Like she would be crying, like making up. I mean, if she's listening right now, she'll be cussing, but she'd be making a scene. And I would just be sitting there drinking some soda, eating some chips. Like, it was just like another day in the neighborhood. Hey, Ash. It's good to see ya. How you feeling? And hey, baby girl. I don't know if I said hey to you. Hey, princess. Welcome in. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Catherine. Everyone was probably wondering, where did she go? But I told you guys I would be back. Hey, ZJK. Hey, Tony. How you doing? Hey, Pete. Petunia's in here. Hey, Ryan. Hey, Tennessee gal. I put it on like subscribers only. I normally do that right when I do the live, and then I forgot, and I hope I didn't like kick anybody out when I did that. So um, I just do it to help Ladybug, and Mary Beth when she's here. Mary Beth, she might not know when we're even live. Hey, Boone, she might have forgot about us. She might have forgot about us. I better go down a little further. She'll come in. We've missed you, Tennessee gal, and I love that new picture of you. I say that all the time. I like the pink. I actually almost got my nails colored that pink, but I wasn't that bold. But I did get them done pink for May, for Maddie May. Maddie May days, I think the 25th. I do have to go get one repaired already. I just got them done yesterday, but I did this 2 years ago. So we did them different colors because for May, June, July, it's Maddie, Kaylee, and Xana's birthday. And then in October, that's Ethan's birthday. So I did them yellow last year for Ethan. I thought they turned out really good. They were like yellow, and I think one was white or something for tulips. You can't hear a thing? Well, hopefully you can hear me. Did you have fun in the rabbit hole? I'm having tea with the Mad Hatter. I felt like I was there. I feel like I've been there. I've been looking at all these different documentaries, and 2020 did one, and I'm so freaking tempted to play that thing. It's 10 years old, for goodness sakes, but I could see them getting me. I am going to play one video, though, and if they decide, I'll let you know when I'm going to play it. And if there's like an 8-minute piece of my live cut out, you'll know why. Hey, Naomi. Hey, Courtney. It's good to see everybody. Hey, Jenna. I thought maybe you guys would forget about me. Hey, Sarah. Hey, Jenny. Hey, Trixies. Oh, I'm just getting my information just by the same stuff that everybody else is getting theirs. We speculate a little bit, then we read the documents, and we go from there. That's usually where I get my information. Normally don't get it from any other channel because I don't ever watch anybody, which is bad. I don't watch like true crime for some reason. I have actually I did watch something that was true crime earlier today. That didn't have anything to do with Bryan Kohberger though. Hey, Boone. Welcome in, everyone. It's good to see you guys. Okay, I'll get to the bottom. I know everyone's going to be like, you better get down there. Hey, Angie. But once you start saying one, you just want to say them all. Hey, Squeaky. Hey, Tempest. I wasn't on for 2 days. It's Naomi's birthday. Happy birthday, Naomi. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's awesome. Well, look at that. It's a good day to have a birthday. May 20th, right? Yep, May 20th. Aw. Mays are good birthdays. That's a good month. I don't think I really know a lot of people with May birthdays, actually. So I'll actually show you kind of where I was getting my information from, because this all kind of started. I had an article up that I was going to read over, or maybe read to you guys. I didn't know. I just saw it, and it was talking about Bryan Kohberger, and it was talking about Elliot Rodgers, and I was like, oh, well, maybe I'll read this, sometime. Well, today's the day. We're going to read it. But we're going to go over pretty much the differences, some similarities and the differences between the two. And I have like a Google spreadsheet thing that I kind of like. It's Google Doc. It's nothing big, but I'm just going to put in as we go along the differences and the similarities. That way, if we come back on this topic again, we can go back and always read those and have them. Now we did one over, Bryan Kohberger and BTK. We've done one over Bryan Kohberger and Ted Bundy recently. And it just seemed like this was a topic that we had never covered in the 2.5 years that we've been covering this case, and we've never covered it on this channel. So I thought, let's cover it. Oh my gosh, Captain, I know. I think that Yeah, that was like that's like affecting my life, and I'm just watching it. I'm just like, I need to get out. I was like, I need to get out of here. I went to the pool actually, but it's not been warm here. But I got burnt. How do you get burnt at the pool and it's not even warm outside? That sun was shining. So this is the article that I saw, and I wish I could make this bigger for you guys. The writing. I don't know if I can. It just asked me if I wanted to add it. I'll have to figure that out. I seen if I like changed it like this. Nope. Okay. We'll figure it out some other time. I saw that and I thought about going over at Tennessee Gal. I just didn't. I was like, man, because I'm interested in that case. So what is going? I thought that they already like had arrested the guys and everything. Like that was like such a long time ago. Let me know what's going on, Tennessee Gal, because I've been wanting to know. I was curious, and I meant to look that up earlier because I saw that they were going back to court and stuff, and I was like, what I missed? So I'm sure I missed something really big. But it says Idaho murder suspect Bryan Kohberger was inspired by evil incel Elliot Rodger, as gorgeous victims represented everything he could not have. And I do have his manifesto and stuff up here. We could always go over that as well. He wrote a lot. He wrote 140 pages about himself. That's a book. We are going to read over page 118 though, because that was, if you guys remember, my brains will be all over the place, but we'll get there. But as you guys know, during the search warrant for Bryan Kohberger's parents' house, they had taken, it says book with underlining on page 118. So this isn't a book, it's a manifesto, but the officers, instead of writing manifesto, maybe they weren't, the wording maybe is off. We'll see, because it's pretty interesting. So I figured we'll start with this, then we'll go through who Elliot Rodger is. Put a 1 in the chat if you know who Elliot Rodger is. Put a 2 if you don't know who Elliot Rodger is. How about that? We can start with there. Like put a 1 if you know who it is. Put a 2 if you're like, don't really know him, know the name maybe, but don't really know him. Because I was learning all kinds of stuff today. Oh, y'all know who he is. Okay. Look at you guys. You guys probably know more than me then. You might. I'm not kidding. I just started today and I was like, well, I know this. I knew the case. I'd heard of it like on one of the channels, on TV, but I had never really like read about him. And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, maybe so. It says Bryan Kohberger left social media clues hinting he may have been inspired by mass murderer Elliot Rodger. Just like Rodger, the Idaho murder suspect allegedly also decided to end the lives of college students in a horrific knife attack that left 4 people dead, Radar Online can reveal. During their investigation of Kohberger, police discovered he was active on social media weeks before he would be handcuffed and thrown behind bars for the murders of Kayla Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. And they're talking about Papa Rodger account. Now, do I believe that's him? I don't know. A Facebook user named Papa Rodger, an account Kohberger is believed to have been behind, left a message in the University of Idaho murders case discussion group, which read, of the evidence released, the murder weapon has been consistent as a large fixed blade knife. This leads me to believe they found the sheath. A sheath was found at the bloody crime scene. However, authorities did not make it public until after Kohberger's social media post. As for the Facebook handle, Papa Rodger, a forensic expert, suggested it is a reference to Rodger. So I'm sure they can dig into that and figure out exactly what computer that, those writings came off of. And if they happen to come off his computer, like at work that he was trying to forensically clean, or, his one at home, that's we'll find that out during trial, I guess. But in 2014, Rodger, then 22 years old, murdered 6 people at the University of California, Santa Barbara, including 2 women from a sorority on the campus. And just stick with me because I can't make this stuff up. Really. The kill spree is believed to have been discussed in criminology classes, and Kohberger was studying for a PhD in the same subject. And yes, Kathleen Ramsland does teach a class on Elliot Rodgers. And we can actually take it if we want for the low price of like $17. So we might have to. We might all have to learn today. I was looking into it. Rodger famously described himself as an incel or involuntarily celibate male. The expert added, I believe Kohberger was also an incel and he killed those 3 girls, allegedly, this is not me saying this, because they were gorgeous and represented everything he could not obtain. The Anti-Defamation League also defines incels as heterosexual men who blame women and society for their lack of romantic success. I think that was all of it. No, there's more. I lied. Rodger ended up shooting himself dead after the rampage. As for Kohberger, he was arrested on December 30th, 2022 and charged with 4 counts of first-degree M and 1 count of burglary. Kohberger's legal team entered a not guilty plea on his behalf in May 2023. And that's wrong. The judge entered it. Recently, a video showing a white sedan, a car believed to have been driven by Kohberger, was revealed to the public. The clip captured by a neighbor's home security is said to show the suspected killer driving near the scene where the 4 students would be killed just 1 day later. It was that night. Okay. And then in the footage first obtained by Dateline, the car makes repeated passes of the house on King Road before quickly driving away 13 minutes later. The car, along with DNA and cell phone data, will be enough to convict the now 30-year-old, at least according to prosecutors. An FBI cell phone expert revealed that Kohberger's phone connected to a cell phone tower near the crime scene 23 times over a 4-month period, all after dark. A guilty conviction may lead to Kohberger being thrown on death row. Sorry. But the defense may have a trick up their sleeve. They claim detectives in the small town kept a secret glove stained with blood from a second unidentified male that they found outside the home. And, they are going with that alternate perpetrator suspect defense. So the unknown blood samples give the defense the perfect tool to say their client was set up. That could be it. I think this Paul Hubill is like the guy that we watched on that Murder Maps. He added the possible evidence will give the jury reasonable doubt and makes it very hard to convict in a death penalty case. Kohberger's trial is set to begin in August 2025. Do you think that could hurt the prosecution? I mean, I could see it hurting the prosecution, not testing those areas. I mean, even if, in my opinion, the one on the banister probably came from Hunter, maybe leaning down to check Xana or Ethan. And maybe he got blood on his hand. I think maybe that could have happened. And then he was rushing around that, that corner to go down the stairs to go out the front door and could have grabbed onto the banister. That, to me, I could see that. But the one outside, if it is a glove with blood in it, they needed to test that. They should have tested it. I mean, even if they had to, why couldn't they just use IgG and do that too? Like, go back and find that person. Yeah, we don't want a dumb jury though. We want smart people. Yeah, and also the blood from really could have been there from a party. Also, baby girl, you're right. And it could have been like nosebleed or you never know. Just it could have been anything. Okay, so Kohberger is still set to go. He's going to go on trial August 11th. So it's going to be pretty exciting for us around here. So we're going to go over who Elliot Rodger is. I'm just going to look up. I looked him up through his Wikipedia page. I read through all of it, and it had a lot of the stuff that I wanted to go over with you guys in it. So I figured this would be good to pull because there's a few things that he did and places that he went that are like they don't tie directly to Moscow, but they do in a way. So it's just kind of I guess you could say huge coincidence. Hey, Carl. We used to party and fight each other. Yep. I remember my best friend throwing a girl down the stairs at a party once. Ooh, she was mad. She was mad at that girl. We were all like hiding in a room trying to look out. Oh man, I had the best friends. I had like the greatest friends, but we were bad. Hey, Jet Set J. Hey, Roxanne. Welcome in, everyone. Hey, Grandma. Okay, so this is Elliot Rodger here. Oh, Elliot Rodger. I figured this would be just like a short version of what we can. Then everybody will have an idea of who he is. Elliot Oliver Robertson Rodger. He was born July 24th, 1991. When was Kohberger born? What year? 94? To May 23rd, 2014. Let me see. Yeah, 94. Okay. But he was a British-born American mass murderer who is known for killing 6 people and injuring 14 others during the 2014 Isla Vista killings. The murders he committed, his suicide, and his manifesto have been cited as an early influence on the Incel and Manosphere subculture. I've never even heard of Manosphere before today. I didn't even hear that one. Born in London, England, Rodger relocated to California with his family as a child. Son of British filmmaker Peter Rodger, he grew up in a privileged household. So parents had money. Rodger struggled with social isolation, mental health issues, and rejection. He was diagnosed with pervasive developmental disorder, not otherwise specified, as a teenager. And when I looked that up, it said that they call it like part of the autism spectrum. He started treatment and received special education resources and therapy for most of his life. He endured bullying during his time in middle school and high school. Several incidents of Rodger's strange behavior during his time in Isla Vista, along with videos and other writings that mentioned violent intentions, worried his family and acquaintances. So his family was already worried, like, about him. Now I wonder if we'll hear something like that, come from Bryan's family, if he did do this and he is convicted, if they'll come out later on and say, yeah, he was, he had a bad attitude, or he liked to steal his sister's everything, not just her phone. Maybe they couldn't keep a phone or something for her. Like, there's just certain things that some kids do. That's when you get them help, I guess. It says, before starting his planned shooting rampage, Rodger uploaded to YouTube a video announcing his intention to punish women as well as the men to whom they were attracted for their lack of interest in him. He also emailed a 137-page manifesto in which he described his major life events, personal struggles, and frustrations at having remained a lifelong virgin to several of his family members, acquaintances, and therapists. Wouldn't that be a little embarrassing to write that out? Like, I am so angry at the world because I didn't get laid. Like, does that sound ridiculous to anybody else? I mean, it sounds ridiculous to me, but I don't know. Okay. On May 23rd, 2014, I couldn't figure out where I was. Rodgers killed 6 people and injured 14 others using knives, semi-automatic pistols, and his car near the University of California, Santa Barbara. Rodger first killed his 2 roommates and their friend in the apartment they shared, ambushing and stabbing them one at a time as they arrived. Hours later, he drove to Alpha Phi sorority house, and that is the same chapter that Kaylee was a part of. Same chapter. Leave her alone. The dog's crying because the dog's laying on the floor. I looked into it, and it's the same chapter. So that they do have in common, Mia, stop crying like that, you big old weirdo. She's not going to move. Can you hear my dog? Sisters. Man. So no, this guy didn't help Bryan, but Bryan may have replicated a little bit of what he was doing off of Elliot here. Because Elliot passed away. He unalived himself by shotgun on this date, May 23rd. Oh, she did actually move. I'm sorry, she's making me laugh. She's like, just leave me alone. So it says so he went to the Alpha Phi sorority house where he intended to murder its occupants, but was unable to enter the premises. So I guess he went there and he knocked on the door for like 1 or 2 minutes and nobody came to the door and let him in. Like, what are the chances of one of the girls not just coming out of the room and being like, oh yeah, like someone's here. Like they didn't know who it was. She's moving me around down here. So I mean, those girls got very lucky. They got very lucky. But it does say that, the sorority they were walking, there was, so Rodgers instead shot at 3 women from the Delta sorority who were walking outside the Alpha Phi sorority house, killing 2 of them while critically injuring the 3rd. He later drove by a nearby delicatessen, shooting and killing a man inside. Afterward, Rodger drove around Isla Vista, indiscriminately shooting and ramming into pedestrians with his vehicle. He exchanged gunfire with sheriff deputies, twice getting shot in his hip. Shortly after he crashed his vehicle into a parked car, as police examined the vehicle, they found Rodger dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to his head. Which, I mean, I'm pretty sure if I read through this manifesto, he's going to probably say that as much. Like after he does this, he doesn't want to be alive anymore. Because I don't see people, like, I don't know, from what I've learned about Elliot Rodger, he wouldn't have done very well in prison. So in the years following his death, Rodger's attacks became a topic in conversations about mental health, online radicalism, and misogyny. He is cited as an early figure of the Incel and manosphere subculture, getting referred to as a hero and a saint in internet forums. Rodger's attacks have often been praised by incels around the world. I mean, congratulations, I guess. He has both influenced and been referenced by perpetrators of other mass killings, with some referring to their actions as going ER, including those who perpetrated the 2015 Umpqua Community College shooting and the 2018 Toronto van attack. Rodger's killing have sparked social media campaigns like Not All Men hashtag and hashtag Yes All Women, and have contributed to ongoing debates about toxic masculinity, gender-based violence, and the influence of internet forums in radicalizing young men who intend to commit copycat crimes. Yeah, well, I hope there's nobody that wants to do that. I don't think there's been any copycats of him. Hey, Majichi. Oh, that's nice of you. That's very cool. Hey, they exist. Welcome in. Okay. Where are we at? Early life. Elliot Oliver Robertson Rodger. Why do they have 2 middle names? Why do some people have 2 middle names? Some people don't. Just curious. Is it a culture thing? I know a lot of people that have 2 middle names. So he was born in London, the UK, on January 24th, 1991, to parents Peter Rodger and Ong Lee Chin Tai. Peter, a British national, is a filmmaker who has directed television commercials and served as a second unit director on The Hunger Games. His mother is of Malaysian Chinese descent and has also worked in the film industry. After training in healthcare, she worked as an on-set nurse during production of The Princess Bride, the one in 1987, and Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1989. His paternal grandfather, George Rodger, was a photojournalist who was well known for his images of Bergen-Belsen concentration camp. Following Rodger's birth, his family moved to Sussex, England, where he enjoyed an affluent and privileged childhood. Li Chin left her nursing career to look after Rodger and soon bore a daughter with whom Rodger's maternal grandmother, who later moved into the family home, developed a strong connection. Well, that's part of that. Well, part of some Asian cultures, the mother-in-law does move in when the first child's born. What the heck? I didn't even touch you. She's right behind my chair and she's spooking herself. He initially attended Dorset House School, a private all-boys school in West Sussex. When Rodger was 5, his family moved to Woodland Hills, an upscale neighborhood in Los Angeles. Rodger then attended Pinecrest schools before switching to Topanga Elementary School. Rodger's parents divorced when he was 7 years old. His custody was split between his parents. Rodger and his younger sister lived with their mother during weekdays and with their father during weekends. A year after the divorce, Rodger's family married Soimaya Akboun, a Moroccan-born French actress. Around this time, Rodger began showing difficulty socializing with others. Well, I mean, I guess we can know why. As an elementary student, he was quiet and withdrawn. He struggled with speech, would whisper answers if addressed, preferred to write information rather than talk, and avoided peer interaction during recess. He often engaged in repetitive behaviors such as making noises and foot tapping, and was easily overwhelmed by overstimulation. Social gatherings like birthday parties made him anxious. In one occasion at Disneyland, he was overwhelmed to tears by the crowds. Rodger viewed his sister as a rival, throwing tantrums over issues in which his parents took her side over him. In 1999, Rodger's mother filed an affidavit asking for more child support from his father, labeling her son as a high-functioning autistic child with special needs. Rodger's father presented a diagnosis by Dr. Stephen M. Scappa, who stated the autism diagnosis was incorrect because the examiner might have missed conditions like depression and anxiety. Scappa recommended additional evaluation of Rodger by a child psychiatrist to obtain a correct diagnosis and appropriate treatment. Rodger had a difficult relationship with his stepmother, Akboun. Let me see what this pronounces out to be. Akboun, whose parental authority he rejected in favor of his biological mother. Well, I mean, that stuff happens, right? You know what I mean? Like, they do. But usually you just they get used to you after a while. I guess maybe he was not getting used to his stepmom. I don't know. As he grew, Rodger became self-conscious about his short height and slender frame. He briefly played basketball in the belief it would make him grow taller. Who told him that? If you play basketball, it's going to make you grow taller. He also became embarrassed about his mixed race heritage, which I don't think anybody should ever feel sorry or feel embarrassed about their heritage, which he felt set him apart from his entirely white peers. At age 9, in an effort to blend in, Rodger dyed his hair blonde and began skateboarding, hoping these changes would help him befriend other children. Despite his extreme social awkwardness, Rodger started to socialize with his more popular peers and attempted to approach girls. He later began experiencing feelings of resentment, convinced that his life was unfair compared to his peers. His increased difficulty in establishing friendships, particularly with women, led to a sense of isolation and frustration. And then in middle years, Rodger's mother met Steven Spielberg and George Lucas during her work as a nurse, dating the latter for a short period during the late 1990s, leading to her and Rodger being invited to several red carpet premieres, including one for the Star Wars Episode I, The Phantom Menace. Rodger's enjoyment of movies began to wane due to his discomfort with the presence of couples at movie theaters. During this period, his stepmother became pregnant and gave birth to a son, Rodger's younger half-brother. Rodger's social activity decreased during middle school, and he immersed himself in popular video games such as Halo and World of Warcraft at his parents' house and cyber cafes. So just like And I mean, a lot of people play video games, but when we were reading over Bryan Kohberger, he referred to a lot of his mental anguish and the stuff that he went through, and he compared it to that game Oblivion. And he gets like it's like playing in a level of Oblivion now. Like I remember him saying that. So it's a way to escape, I guess. So it says primarily socializing with others via online chat rooms. When he was aged 11, a fellow AOL chat room user shared sexually explicit images with Rodger, leading to overwhelming feelings of shock and emotion. Well, why were you on AOL at 11? I can't say nothing. Upon reaching puberty, Rodger developed a high sex drive but began to believe he would never have sexual relationships with women. He became known as a quiet and weird kid who intentionally annoyed classmates, leading to bullying by other students. One of his bullies was a blonde girl, which Rodger claimed contributed to the development of his misogynistic attitudes. After finishing middle school, and he did meet a girl actually that he was really good friends with. Do you want to know her name? Maddie. She's all up in his manifesto. I mean, that's not like, I mean, that's a pretty, I mean, it's a common name. If Madison, Maddie is a common name, but just another thing, you know? So it says here, after finishing middle school, Rodger enrolled in Crispy Carmelite High School, all boys Catholic school in the Encino neighborhood of Los Angeles. Rodger was initially eager to distance himself from female peers, but observing the older, taller students at Crispy caused Rodger to have an anxiety attack during his first day of attendance. How tall was this guy? Rodger reported being severely bullied by seniors at Crispy, which included having his head taped to his desk when he fell asleep. Well, hey, you fell asleep. I mean, you know, that's just what we do when you're kids. Being pushed into the lockers and suffering hemophobia abuse due to his refusal to associate with girls. Okay. Rodger was overwhelmed by the bullying and he withdrew socially, neglected his homework, and spent hours playing video games. On the last day of Rodger's freshman year, a classmate spoke about having sex with his girlfriend. Rodger did not believe him, causing the classmate to play a voice recording of himself and his girlfriend having sex. Oh, my Lord. Following Rodger's subsequent outburst, his mother picked him up in the school's main office. It was the last time he would leave Crispy. Okay. Rodger's parents enrolled him in William Howard Taft Charter School, the transition to which intensified Rodger's fears due to its large student body. Rodgers again experienced severe bullying, often by male students and in the presence of female students. One afternoon, while leaving the premises, Rodger suffered an anxiety attack, causing school staff to contact his mother, and he was withdrawn from Taft after only a week of attendance. His parents then enrolled him in an Independence Continuation High School, a school of roughly 100 students that offered 3 to 4 hours of daily instruction, believing it to be a safer environment for Rodger. Basically, homeschool. In 2007, that's not, in my opinion, like, I did homeschool, and no. There's no reason to do homeschooling. There's no reason to do homeschooling. This is coming from somebody that was homeschooled. Your kids need that social interaction. They need that, all that. I did it my junior, senior years after a car accident, but still, like, I mean, I wish I would have went back, like, to an actual school. Because it just puts you into a spot where you're even more secluded, more time to think about what you're not, you know? And that's all this guy seems like he thought about. He didn't think about what he was or what he could be. You know, he had like all this privilege growing up, but he thought, what can I do to like tear it all down? Like, what can I do to ruin life for other people? So it says here that in 2007, that's when he got the condition on the autism spectrum that leads to a problem in social development. While Rodgers did not meet the criteria to be diagnosed with autism, His PDD-NOS diagnosis helped him receive special education resources. At age 15, Rodger was prescribed Xanax and Prozac. They put him straight on the hard stuff. But he stopped taking both medications after a year. He later began taking Paxil, but reported that it left him feeling excessively drowsy and fatigued. Rodger claimed he had to rely entirely on his mind and positive thinking to manage his social anxiety. At the age of 17, Rodger reacted to the suggestion of visiting his stepmother's home country, Morocco, with a temper tantrum. He went with his stepmother and half-brother, but remained discontent and continuously emailed his mother until she allowed him to return to her home. His father's filmmaking career severely declined during the 2000s, culminating in the documentary film Oh My God, 2009, which bombed at the box office. The film's failure drove Rodger's father into debt and forced him to pause his child support payments. Rodger's stepmom became concerned with his unwillingness to socialize and made him stop playing his video games, causing tensions between the two to escalate. Why was she taking the game away from him? Why wasn't the father? You know what I mean? Like, that's like, you're going to take away the one thing that, oh man. These tensions escalated and Rodger was ejected from his father's house. Rodgers soon harbored a fixation on becoming rich, believing it to be the key to gaining attention from women. He urged his mother to marry a wealthy man, but she refused to remarry. And Rodger took up screenwriting and inventing, which he believed would be shortcuts to success, but he quickly gave up when he felt challenged. Disliking high school and determined to graduate early, Rodger attended classes more regularly and earned top grades, graduating from Independence Continuation High School in 2010. Well, at least he graduated, I guess. By age 18, Rodger had ceased his mental health treatment and refused to take his prescribed medication. He held his parents responsible for his lack of wealth, blaming his mother for not marrying a wealthier man for his benefit and his father for using his money to produce Oh My God. Rodger enrolled at Los Angeles Pierce College, but soon left after seeing too many happy couples, causing him feelings of anger. Despite his mother's encouragement to seek employment, I'm just curious. I wonder how his mom and his dad's interactions were together growing up before they got divorced. And then I wonder how his dad was with his stepmother, like their interactions. Because it seems to me like he hates people that are in good relationships. Like, he doesn't like people that are in good relationships. That makes him really, really angry. And so I would think if he was, born into a family where there was a lot of love, he wouldn't have these kind of feelings. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. So it says, despite his mother's encouragement to seek employment, Rodger spent his time frequently wandering around her house or reading at a bookstore, hoping to find friends. Later, he would sit alone in cafes, hoping for any women to approach him. Okay. Oh, approach me. Okay. Rodger's parents worried about his direction in life and offered to him help to find work, but Rodger deemed many jobs suggested to him to be beneath him. Rodger's father referred him to one of his friends, and Rodger worked in construction for a time. When his half-brother began to show signs of sociability, despite his own social disadvantages at that age, Rodger grew envious but enjoyed his company nonetheless. Rodger soon enrolled at Moorpark College. Attracted by the smaller size and appealing aesthetics, he was hopeful at the prospect of meeting blonde women and showing a potential girlfriend around his new campus. Rodger quickly experienced feelings of loneliness and unhappiness at Moorpark and developing feelings of envy towards a couple in one of his classes. His discomfort was exacerbated by his social anxiety, particularly when he was called upon by a professor. Rodger dropped out of Moorpark after completing a year. He never really completed much of anything, did he? Like, he would never stay very long. We do, is she? 8 months, look at that. And welcome in, everybody. It's good to see everybody. You found us. Thank you for being a member for so long. I can't believe it's been 8 months already. 8 months. That's crazy. Isn't that crazy? Man, I've known a lot of you guys for a long, long time. A long time. Y'all just still hang out with me. I love it. Now this guy is something else. I mean, maybe we'll learn more. I mean, maybe Bryan and Elliot, Rodger have some things in common. Maybe he did study him. But there are some differences, but there are some there's a lot of similarities at the same time. So it's just, I don't know. We'll have to see how we feel at the end. So it says Rodgers took comfort and knowledge in his best friend, whom he had known since childhood, was also a virgin, but could not understand why his friend was not angry with women as he was. Seeing his friend as weak, Rodger eventually revealed his thoughts of taking over the world and killing people. Their friendship grew strained, and Rodger's friend began to distance himself. Rodger shared his disturbing fantasies with other friends, which led those friends to also distance themselves. Smart. You know, look at that. PKC, 15 months. Look at that. Finishing dinner. What you eating? Hey, Purple Daisy. Welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Look at the little things on the side. You can see your little comments. I don't know how to make it bigger, though. Gotta figure that out. Oh, that's awesome. I gotta get some more of those little emojis, my little arms. Okay, where are we at? Oh yeah, this is where I wanted to read too. Okay, so in an attempt to reduce his isolation, Rodger's parents decided to send him to college in Santa Barbara. They agreed to pay for his apartment and college classes and were optimistic participating in a college community would encourage Rodger to make friends. Rodger agreed to the plan after watching the crime drama film Alpha Dog. Thinking about the film, Rodger believed moving to Santa Barbara would give him the chance to attend parties and lose his virginity. On June 4th, 2011, Rodgers moved into an apartment in Isla Vista near the University of California, Santa Barbara campus. And they were like student housing. It was kind of like Bryan Kohberger's in a way. Like they were apartments, student housing apartments. After enrolling at Santa Barbara City College, he was angered when one of his roommates' black friends said he had lost his virginity at the age of 13. Rodgers retreated to his room and called his mother, expressing his frustration over the attention black men received from blonde women instead of him. You called your mama with that information? Wonder what his mom said. Mom, you ain't gonna believe this. This guy over here, he's black. Yeah, he lost his virginity when he was 13. What? And all the white girls with blonde hair love him. Man. Wow. He called his mom. I'm sorry. I'm calling my mom. Rodger found difficulty forming relationships with several roommates and chose to spend much of his time alone. When he shared a room with two Hispanic roommates, he would call them racial slurs and insist he was better looking. When his next roommate took his girlfriend to their apartment, Rodger told him he was foolish for being happy in a relationship with an ugly whore. The roommate asked to be assigned a new apartment, stating Rodger had huge psychological issues and was a ticking time bomb waiting to explode, mentioning that he feared for his safety. I would say the same. Rodger soon began developing a deep hatred towards the people of Isla Vista, seeing himself as a sophisticated person deserving of relationships with attractive blonde women. You don't like the brunettes? Okay. He believed women were wrong for rejecting him and blamed men who were more successful than him for their rejection. Rodger started to have thoughts of killing couples, envisioning himself stabbing them to death while they were engaged in sexual activity. Oh, okay. In July 2011, during a visit to Starbucks coffee outlet, Rodger noticed a couple kissing. He followed them outside and threw his coffee at them. The man yelled at Rodger, who fled the scene. That same month, Rodger saw another couple kissing at a food court. He followed them in his car and splashed them with iced tea. At SBCC, Rodger dropped a sociology course after seeing a blonde woman with her boyfriend in class. Like, that's deeply disturbing. You know what I mean? Like, if you can't even go to a class, you got to keep like going to different schools because you're seeing a blonde haired girl with a guy. You're going to see that everywhere. You might as well just go ahead and gouge your eyes out and be blind. You know, that probably would have helped. I mean, these women couldn't do anything right. If you had blonde hair and you were a woman and you weren't looking at him, you were as good as dead. In January 2012, while driving past a bus stop, Rodger attempted to engage two blonde women by smiling. When they did not return the smile, he turned his car around and splashed them with his latte. That shit's hot. I hope they got his license plate. Probably didn't. Rodger soon developed an obsession with designer clothing, purchasing items in an attempt to alleviate his status. He would roam around Isla Vista every day, often sitting outside a Domino's pizza outlet, hoping a woman would find him attractive and initiate a conversation with him. In an attempt to find social connection, Rodger made a friend who introduced him to other acquaintances in hopes of integrating him into their circle. By February 2012, Rodger withdrew from all of his classes at SBCC due to his frustration with his social interactions, particularly with women. He began to contemplate what he called a day of retribution, a planned attack on women and couples. With these plans in mind, on March 11, 2012, Rodger boarded a first-class airplane and took a private limousine to attend a private Katy Perry concert, tickets for which his family were given by friends. The next day, Rodgers went to a red carpet premiere of The Hunger Games with his father and stepmother, where he met Jack Ross, the 16-year-old son of the film's director, Gary Ross. Rodger began to believe the only way he would get a girlfriend was to get rich. He bought lottery tickets for the Mega Millions jackpot in June 2012, but he did not win. Rodger started to amass funds for his planned attack, saving up to $6,000 to buy supplies. The following month, while walking alone in the park, he saw college students playing kickball. Rodger was overwhelmed with envy when seeing blonde women interacting with men. He purchased a super soaker and filled it with orange juice. He returned to the park, yelled at the students, and sprayed them. Like, wow. Like, who thinks to fill it with orange juice? That's weird. In August 2012, Rodger's father gave him The Secret by... Oh, I bought that book. It was on Oprah's book list. And then come to find out, it was like manipulation all the way. So in August 2012, Rodger's father gave him The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, a self-help book that promotes the law of attraction. Motivated by its principles, Rodger spent a month meditating in his bedroom, imagining himself walking through a park alongside a beautiful woman. The following month, Rodger broke his laptop computer in rage after failing to win 120 million Mega Millions jackpot. I mean, you know, he was just ready to win. He was like, it's my turn. While traveling to Oxnard the next day to purchase a replacement laptop, he visited a shooting range to learn how to use a firearm, believing his day of retribution was now possible. Can you imagine? Oh, yeah, the original Super Soaker was. Yeah, my brother had them. They hurt. Those things hurt. I remember, and the Nerf balls, and then, oh, man, we had them all. We were 9 years apart, too. So my brother had, not only was he a boy, but I had speed. That was all I had on my side. Everything else he had. Mobility, all of it. But, yeah, we did do that. So he was mad that he didn't win the Mega Millions. So he said, I'm going to go out and kill couples and women with blonde hair. Still hopeful of becoming rich, Rodger drove to Arizona in November 2012 to buy tickets for the Powerball jackpot, which had been raised to $500 million. Despite driving to Arizona 4 times, Rodger failed to win, further angering him. Thinking this meant he would remain a virgin, Rodger began to prepare for his day of retribution. Choosing the day of Isla Vista as his target, in December 2012, Rodger bought a Glock 34 long slide semi-automatic pistol for $755.57 at a firearms dealer in Goleta, California. In February 2013, Rodger called the police to report that someone had dented his car door while it was parked. He claimed that the owner of a white BMW had repeatedly dented his vehicle's door and that he confronted the person, who then apologized and promised to be more careful. Rodger contended that he didn't believe the damage was intentional, but later claimed he found additional dents on his car. A police officer and a sheriff's deputy inspected both Rodger's vehicle and the white BMW, but found no damage on either car. On March 2013, Rodgers purchased a Sig Sauer, same one as old Bridge Dude. I'm just saying that's a different case, but Delphi. Rodger purchased a Sig Sauer P226 handgun for $1,179.48 in Burbank. Rodger scheduled his attack to take place around Halloween 2013, but he realized the heightened police presence during the holiday would thwart his plans. He began to plan an attack for some time in November 2013. Rodger and his 2 new roommates were placed in a new apartment complex after taking a questionnaire about their personalities. Rodger initially joined them for social activities, but after a few outings, he began to distance himself. The roommate suspected Rodger possessed a firearm after hearing a clicking sound from his room numerous times. They moved out in June 2013, having become uncomfortable living with Rodger. This is like the 4th or 5th person that's moved out. I mean, yeah. So then, incident at a house party. I was like, when I heard about this, I was like, what? I don't know. This just kind of like, because we've been always wondering in a way, like, did Bryan maybe go into the house or did he just like observe, from like the outside? Because all the windows were normally open anyway, you could see everything in there. But Elliot had a little bit of a problem at a house party. So on July 20th, 2013, Rodger was intent on losing his virginity days before his 22nd birthday. He drank vodka to ease his nerves before attending a house party with the hope of engaging with women. He wasn't invited. As he entered the house, Rodger saw an Asian man talking with a blonde woman. Rodger became angry and deliberately bumped into the man as he walked by them. Frustrated by his inability, he had little man syndrome. Like, I mean, he's small, right there. That's what he keeps saying. He's so small, but he'll like run into people. But normally it's in his car or like with a squirt gun. This time, this is it. He actually physically, like, this is the first time I think he actually bumped into somebody with not his car. Frustrated by his inability to talk with women at the party, he climbed a 10-foot ledge and pretended to shoot people with his finger. When he attempted to shove multiple women off the ledge, a group of men pushed Rodger off, resulting in a fractured ankle. Rodger tried to leave the party, but realized he had lost his sunglasses and necklace. He was still inebriated and attempted to return to the party, but inadvertently walked into another house where the occupants assaulted him, causing him bruises, scrapes, and a swollen left eye. Following the incident, Rodgers returned to his apartment. He walked into someone else's house. That's why, man, you're lucky that's all that happened. The following day, Rodger's father took him to the hospital where Rodger was given surgery for his ankle. He helped his son file a police report, which caused 2 sheriff's deputies to attend the hospital to question Rodger. Rodger said he was pushed off the ledge after insulting someone's appearance, that he went to a different house, and then he was then assaulted by approximately 10 men without provocation after getting called a homophobic slur. When asked why he did not call the police, Rodger said he did not know who to contact. A deputy remarked on Rodger's dishonesty, deeming him too timid to tell the truth. A witness confirmed Rodger instigated the incident, noting he acted strangely and did not talk to anyone at the party. And neighbors saw Rodger returning home in tears, swearing to kill his assailants and contemplating the S word. The sheriff's office concluded Rodger was the instigator and the investigation was closed without further action. Rodger was not arrested nor further interrogated. Well, maybe he should have been. He walked into somebody's house. Okay, he walked into two people's houses. He went into the party that he was not invited to. Right there. Boop, 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 walked in. Right? Then he gets up on the roof of this house or whatever, dwelling, top of the dwelling, and he's trying to push women off of it. I'm sure they're up there drunk as can be, probably dancing around or whatever, doing what women do. And then having a good time with their girlfriends. And then you got this guy trying to push them off. So then they got the guys come over like, you're not going to mess with our ladies here, and they push him off. Which that probably wasn't very smart to do either. But, I can understand it. But they should have maybe arrested him for assault. Like maybe one of those, I don't know if those women could have if he did put his hands on one of them women and push them, they could have got assault. So maybe not though. In August 2013, while recovering from ankle surgery, Rodger stayed with his mother and agreed to meet with a former childhood therapist. Fueled by resentment over the house party incident and his repeated rejection by women, Rodger concluded his only recourse was to enact his day of retribution. So did all these people that saw him, therapists stuff, no one got a bad feeling from this guy? He postponed his planned attack until early 2014. Rodger's parents sought more professional help for him, leading to therapy sessions with controversial psychiatrist, Charles Sophie, who began treating Rodger in late 2012. Sophie prescribed the antipsychotic drug Risperidone, which Rodgers decided not to take after researching it online. Rodger stopped attending his appointments with Sophie by late 2013. Rodger's father sought assistance from his friend Dale Lohner, a filmmaker who is known for his work on relationship-themed movies, to improve his son's interactions with women. Lohner agreed to help, and he and Rodger communicated via email and met in person, but Rodger found Lohner's guidance ineffective. His mother enlisted the help of an agency that provided 3 counselors between May 2013 and May 2014. Rodger attended 29 sessions. He connected well with 2 male counselors, but became jealous when they became social and made remarks about women around them. He formed a connection with a female counselor, but was offended by the suggestion he required paid female companionship, comparing it to being with a prostitute. Rodger told his counselors about an interest in joining political science clubs and volunteering, with the goal of transferring to UCSB. Because of this, in late 2013, a counseling director told Rodger's mother he appeared to be making a sincere effort to improve his life and reduce his social isolation. Because he did what? Because he said that I have an interest in joining political science club and volunteering all of a sudden. So you're like, oh yeah, let's write him off. He's good. Okay. Rodger's parents also engaged a life coach named Gavin Linderman, who provided Rodger with instructions to improve his social life, requiring him to travel to Los Angeles for the sessions. During their meetings, Rodger told Linderman about his struggles with his virginity. Linderman suggested moving away from Isla Vista would be beneficial for his mental health, but Rodger dismissed the idea. Linderman advised Rodger's mother to consider having her son leave Isla Vista. She then gave Rodger 2 options. Either she would help him find a residential treatment center where he could receive daily therapy, or he would move back home and receive intensive treatment from a therapist and social worker. Rodger responded by asking his mother to continue paying his rent, saying he had made new acquaintances and promising to focus on his classes and meet with counselors. Because Rodger was now an adult, his mother could not legally force him to leave Isla Vista. But she didn't have to pay for him to live there. After discussing with the therapist, his mother was told that she did all she could and was advised to support her son's wish to stay and complete his education. Rodger's mother then bought him a used 2008 BMW 328i Coupe for $40,000, giving him hope he might attract a girlfriend during the remainder of 2013 because he's getting a new car. Oh man, the car ain't going to do it for you, buddy. The following semester, Rogers enrolled in classes but quickly withdrew from them again. In September 2013, Roger was assigned a random apartment where he gained two new roommates, 20-year-old Wei-hen David Wang and 20-year-old Chi Young James Hong. As Wang's mother helped her son move his belongings into the apartment, she urged the three to take care of each other, advice which Roger quickly rejected. Roger spent most of his time either out of the apartment or alone in his room, making Wang feel concerned by his antisocial behavior. Wang filed complaints with the building manager, saying Roger played loud music during the night. On January 15th, 2014, Roger and Hong got into a fight when Roger accused Hong of stealing 3 of his candles that were valued at $22. The conflict began when Roger became irritated by Hong's cooking. Roger took his measuring cup and Hong retaliated by taking Roger's candles in an attempt to initiate a trade. Roger then placed Hong under a citizen arrest. What? Upon police intervention, Hong said he believed Roger had stolen his possession, though Roger denied the allegations. Police discovered the candles on Hong's bed. After Hong refused to return the candles, he was arrested and charged with petty theft. Man, that sucks. Like, he was just trying to cook his food. Roger later emailed the building manager demanding the eviction of Hong and Wang from the apartment due to the stolen candles. He also complained they were always too loud and constantly played video games. Hong and Wang were angered by Roger's actions but refrained from confronting him, concerned it might worsen their living conditions. Wang's parents grew concerned about his interactions with Roger, but Wang reassured them that he was all right. Hong and Wang distanced themselves from Roger and signed a lease for a different apartment for the following semester. Roger began to plan to murder Hong and Wang, finding them irritating and feeling they would obstruct his attack. Well, if they would have moved out, they wouldn't have obstructed your attack. In October 2013, Roger's envy of his half-brother intensified upon learning from his stepmother he had secured opportunities to appear in television commercials. Roger began plotting to murder his half-brother, fearing his sibling would surpass him in popularity with girls and social status. Additionally, he devised a plan to kill his stepmother by stabbing her in the neck due to their strained relationship and finding she would get in the way. Roger planned to commit the murders while his father was away on a business trip, as he was concerned he might hesitate if confronted with the task of killing his father as well. He was thinking about this for a long time. You know what I mean? By January 2014, Roger contemplated launching his planned attack during Valentine's Day or Deltopia, a spring break event in Isla Vista in early April. He dismissed these dates due to heightened police presence and his realization he required additional time for preparation. Roger eventually chose to mount his attack on April 26th. In February 2014, Roger called his sister while drunk and wandering alone through Isla Vista while complaining about women ignoring him. Roger's sister reassured him and calmed him. Concerned about his social isolation, she became worried the social scene in Isla Vista would further damage her brother's mental health. I wonder if Bryan had if he had close, if him and his siblings were close. You know, the sisters, I think that he might have done this. Like, I wonder if they were ever close. In February 2014, Rogers bought another Sig Sauer P226 handgun for $1,132 in Oxnard in case the other two firearms jammed. Throughout February and March of that year, Roger visited gun ranges and made multiple ammunition purchases using money he had saved from gifts from his grandparents and the $500 monthly allowance from his father. On 2 separate occasions, Roger visited the library at SBCC, where a librarian helped him find books about serial killers and mass murderers. He read the books in the library but never checked them out. Wow. This is an online activity. I just want to read. Okay. So Roger had a social media presence, sharing selfies on his Facebook profile on which he showed himself enjoying luxurious plane rides and attending attending movie premieres. Roger's Rodger also frequently shared posts on Twitter and Google X, often posting pictures of himself alongside his car and posts about feeling lonely. On his personal blog, Rodger portrayed himself as a sophisticated, polite gentleman, describing his difficulties in socializing and connecting with others in Isla Vista. He would drive around the city and secretly record women and couples while complaining how lonely he felt while seeing them. Rodger expressed his grievances about being a lifelong virgin on platforms such as YouTube. On the week leading up to April 26, Rodger uploaded 22 videos on YouTube describing his loneliness and frustration due to his unsuccessful attempts at attracting a girlfriend. In the videos, he would question why women would prefer inferior men over him, questioning why his perceived good looks, high-end clothes, and expensive car failed to garner any attention or acknowledgement from them. I'll tell you why. Because they could read it all over you, brother. Your mama bought you that car. Your daddy bought you them clothes. You got an allowance. A girl can smell a man without a job a mile away. We don't care what your social status looks like. We don't care what kind of car you have. We can tell if you got a job or not. Or if you just got way too much time to be hanging out with yours truly. You know what I mean? I'm no doctor, but I had to be mental, yeah. Where are we at? Okay, so it says, on the week leading up to April 26th, Rodger uploaded 22 videos on YouTube describing his loneliness and frustration due to his unsuccessful attempts at attracting a girlfriend. In the videos, he would question why women would prefer inferior men over him, questioning why his perceived good looks, high-end clothes, and expensive cars failed to garner any attention or acknowledgement from them. With video titles such as, "Why Do Girls Hate Me So Much?" "Being Lonely on Spring Break Sucks," "Life is So Unfair Because Girls Don't Want Me," and "My Reaction to Seeing a Young Couple at the Beach, Envy." Those are all about me, I. In additional YouTube videos, Rodgers recorded himself driving around California in his BMW while dancing to music from musicians including Whitney Houston, George Michael, and Phil Collins. Any Britney Spears criminal? And what Whitney Houston song? And what Phil Collins song? Is it like I Can Feel It in the Air Tonight? I mean, he posted his videos to forums like bodybuilding.com, where despite his attempts to show his loneliness, users left ridiculing comments, calling him desperate and insecure. Rodger subscribed to multiple YouTube channels associated with the men's rights movement that posted content advising men on attracting and talking with women. He had a second YouTube channel named Valorathon. Rodger would leave negative comments across several videos, calling women derogatory terms and accusing other men of lying about their relationships with women. My eyes itching, sorry. He also boasted about his affluent family background and expressed a sense of superiority due to being half white. Oh, man. His online activities also included searches related to the NAZISs of the world, such as researching Joseph Goebbels and Heinrich Himmler, and searching topics like did the Adolf, have a girlfriend? Adolf and the laws of attraction. Nazi curb stop. Holocaust of Black people. What? And Nazi anime. Please don't come for me, YouTube. Educational video over here. Rodger also searched topics like shooting range, Los Angeles, racism against Asian, modern torture devices, Spanish Inquisition torture devices, Guazhou train station knife attack. I'm saying that wrong. And Xinjiang railroad station terrorist knife attack explosion bombing. Rodger frequently engaged with online forums such as Forever Alone and PUA Hate, which are connected with the manosphere. Trying to grab my hand sanitizer. It says Rodger and other men identified themselves as incels, in shorthand term for involuntary celibate, and discussed their struggles to find romantic or sexual partner, criticizing each other and expressed disdain towards women and pickup artists. When a user suggested having sex via lucid dreaming could serve as a substitute for a lack of intimacy in real life, Rodgers argued incels needed to be intimate or to initiate, a revolution, saying it was essential to destroy the issues they faced by recognizing their true strength in numbers. That sounds to me like I'm going to force you to do something you don't want to do. He advocated for the overthrow of what he termed the oppressive feminist system, envisioning a world where women would live in fear of incels. Rodger also expressed racist views of interracial couples, mocking an Asian man trying to date a white woman. Good thing you did there, Elliot, because you'd be real pissed. He says, mocking an Asian man trying to date a white woman and stating it was rage-inducing after he saw a black man socializing with white women. After users accused him of being racist, Rodger said he was shocked white women would choose undeserving men over himself. You saying that other men are undeserving, like that just kind of makes you undeserving. So this is his final planning. In the weeks leading up to April 26, 2014, Rodger created a 137-page manifesto entitled My Twisted World, The Story of Elliot Rodger. In the manifesto, Rodger describes his life and frustrations at staying a virgin. He describes women as a plague and said their right to choose their own partners could hinder the advancement of humanity, and that civilized men of intelligence should choose women's sexual partners. He also stated women should not be given any rights and that their wickedness needed to be contained to avoid the risk of humanity falling into degeneracy. Rodger said women's refusal to accept him as a declaration of war and hoped his attacks would reshape humanity. Okay, so I got it. Elliot is right. All the women in the world are bad and wrong. Okay. I'm starting to get it. Okay. He would not have made it in jail. He would not have made it in jail. He just would not have. According to Rodger, to purify the world, it is necessary to remove love and sex from human existence. He imagined himself as a leader with fancifully loyal troops who imprison women in concentration camps, and the few left alive would be kept in secret labs and be artificially inseminated with sperm samples to become pregnant, and ensuing men would be unaware of women's existence. Oh, my lordy. Rodger detailed his plan for his day of retribution and divided it into 3 phases. Before starting his proposed phases, Rodger planned to drive to his father's house to kill his stepmother and half-brother. He would then steal their Mercedes SUV and drive it to Isla Vista. Rodger's first phase involved killing the 2 roommates and then luring victims into his apartment, slowly torturing them before killing them. In the second phase, he was dubbed the War on Women. He aimed to target the very girls that represent everything I hate in the female gender, specifically focusing on the Alpha Phi sorority house with the intent to kill as many occupants as possible before setting fire to the building. In his final phase, after setting the sorority house on fire, he would proceed to shoot and run over as many people in the Isla Vista as possible with the SUV. And if you weren't here earlier, Alpha Phi or Alpha Phi is the same sorority that Kaylee was in. Rodger showed a section of his manifesto describing his childhood in England to his mother, Lee Chin, who was impressed and encouraged him to continue writing. What did you read, honey? To keep him, you say, yeah, keep on writing that stuff. Rodger's father knew he had been writing something, but Rodger refused to show it to him. During a hike together, Rodger's father expressed interest in his son's writing and asked to see it. Rodger declined the request, assuring his father he would share it with him soon. In April, Rodger extended his preparation by visiting 2 additional gun ranges. After posting videos on his YouTube channel in the week leading up to April 26th, he hoped a woman might see his video and ask him on a date. He would be waiting a long time. He would have been waiting a long time. I mean, he was just waiting. He's at the coffee shop waiting. He's at the house, at the parties waiting. He's sitting in his car at a red light waiting, just waiting on the women to come to him. I guess that he thought that they should have been fawning over him, I guess. Because this did not happen, Rodger planned to finish writing his manifesto and upload a final video minutes before starting his attack. On April 24th, Rodger became sick with a cold and his father returned early from his business trip, causing Rodger to question whether these events were a sign to abandon his plans. He postponed the date of his planned attack to May 24th to allow recovery from his cold and more time to live. More time to live. So he knew what he was getting himself into, huh? On April 30th, 2014, Rodger's mother became worried after she failed to contact him for several days. Lee Chin looked him up online and found a video titled, "Why Do Girls Hate Me So Much?" He had posted on YouTube. Becoming disturbed by the content, she tried calling her son again, but he did not answer. She then contacted Linderman, who told him what she found. Linderman contacted a crisis hotline and spoke to a staff member, voicing concerns about Rodger's mentioning self-harm, causing the staff member to request a welfare check on Rodger. Responding to the request, 4 sheriff deputies, a university police officer, and a dispatcher in training visited Rodger's apartment. When the police arrived, Rodger said the videos were his way of expressing his social difficulties in Isla Vista and that he had no intention of hurting anyone or himself. A deputy asked Rodger to call his mother to update her on his situation. He did so, told her he was fine, and handed his phone to one of the deputies. The deputy asked his mother if the videos caused her concern about Rodger harming himself or others. After she said she was not concerned, the deputies handed Rodger back his phone and he told his mother he would call her later. Because they did not enter Rodger's apartment, watch his videos, or check whether he owned any weapons, they determined he did not pose an immediate risk to himself or others. The deputies determined Rodger did not meet the criteria for an involuntary hold and provide him with information on local support services. They should have seized his weapons. Rodger was relieved after the police officers left because a search of his apartment would have uncovered his firearms and manifesto and thwarted his attack. He retained possessions of a gun and several loaded magazines close at hand and intended to use them if police returned. Rodger removed most of his videos from YouTube, believing the way he acted on them would raise suspicion that could potentially ruin his plans. A bodybuilding.com user noticed that Rodger had removed the "Why Do Girls Hate Me So Much" recording, commenting that his romantic failures were likely due to the creepy vibe that you give off. Rodger replied that his parents had forced him to take them down, but he planned to repost it. He later gave the same response in the description of one of his remaining videos, saying the video concerned some of his family members and that he would repost them later. Rodger planned to repost the videos in the days leading up to the attack in May. The following day, Rodger's mother contacted the counseling center at SBCC to report the incident, but was unable to speak to anyone. She felt relieved after hearing from her son again and planned to meet with him a few weeks later in Montecito. With his sister, a pressure mounted in anticipation of his planned attack, Rodger took Xanax to alleviate his anxiety. Ooh. So he was all Xannied out. Hey, Miss W. He did act like a clown. Monet, me too. I didn't know what it was until this case, what an incel was. And I was like, oh, Squeaky. Squeaky's running the chat. Okay, so incidents before the attacks. Okay. I needed a 2-second break. So incidents before the attacks. Throughout May 2014, Rodger drove across Santa Barbara, enjoying his final weeks to live. On May 6th, he was involved in an altercation with a couple at Goleta Beach. When a male diver was attempting to reverse out of a parking spot, Rodger used his car to block the driver's exit. The man's female partner, who was watching from her vehicle, witnessed the fight from their respective cars. Rodger told the man, "You're lucky to be an Asian guy dating a white girl. It's too bad she is such a horse-faced slut." Ooh. Rodger then drove off. After the male driver related the incident to his partner, she decided to pursue Rodger in her car. Sorry, that sounds like something I do. Upon catching up to him and attempting to confront him, Rodger said nothing, leaving the woman feeling uneasy and causing her to leave. As she drove away, she noticed Rodger speeding through the parking lot, almost hitting several cars. The woman called the emergency services and told the police about the incident and to search the area for a black BMW. She was like, "Oh, you didn't get him? I'll get him." A week before his attacks, Rodgers met his mother and sister at dinner at a restaurant in Montecito. During their meal, he saw a couple and quietly told his mother the man was too unattractive to be dating a blonde woman. What is up with the blonde women? He likes blonde women, I guess. Rodger's mother ignored his remarks and shifted the conversation, feeling relieved to see her son again after April 30th. Rodger's sister commented he was eating more than usual, which made him scoff at her. Once they finished eating, they went their separate ways. Days before his attacks, Rodger reposted his videos, including the "Why Do Girls Hate Me So Much" recording on YouTube. The "Why Do Girls Hate Me So Much" video was later reposted to Reddit's Cringe subreddit, where users discussed Rodger's mental health and considered calling the police due to his disturbing demeanor. And some users compared him to the fictional serial killer Patrick Bateman from the film American Psycho. Nope, that's Bryan Kohberger, I believe. I mean, he looks like him, kind of. On May 21st, after being called a low-class incel, that's probably like the worst name that you could be called, I guess. Rodgers linked a video of himself, his father, and stepmother at a Hunger Games premiere saying, "You're all jealous of my 10 out of 10 pretty boy face. This site is full of stupid, disgusting, mentally ill degenerates who take pleasure in putting down others. This is why I have to say on here goodbye." The next day, Rodgers accessed and viewed Pew Hate and bodybuilding.com before discovering and viewing anxietyzone.com. Where were you finding these websites? Anxiety Zone? That's crazy. Okay, these are the attacks. So, despite initially selecting May 24th as the date of his attack, Rodger unexpectedly initiated his attacks a day earlier. He told his mother his final day of school would be on May 23rd, that he would be taking a test at SBCC, and that he would call her after he finished the test. Before beginning his attacks, Rodger visited a pizzeria called Giovanni's Pizza. Oh, they got good pizza. Where he stood silently on the patio holding his phone. A female staff member approached and asked if he needed assistance, but Rodger remained silent, only smiling at her. Before commencing his attack, Rodger took Xanax. He looked up pornography online and searched the terms quiet, silent, kill with a knife. Bryan's pornography searches were sleeping, passed out, drunk, rugged. Sounds similar. You want them to be quiet? No. Talking? No. Just because they're just women. I'm not saying that about Bryan Kohberger. I'm talking about Elliot here. Yeah, that's something else. And how to kill someone with a knife. Before practicing stabbing on his bed sheets and pillows, Rodger stabbed Hong Wang and their 19-year-old friend George Chen to death in their apartment, ambushing each one separately as they entered. Hours later, Rodgers went to a Starbucks and bought a triple vanilla latte. He then returned to his apartment, emailing his manifesto to 34 people and uploading a 7-minute video called Elliot Rodgers' Retribution to YouTube. Rodger later drove to the Alpha Phi sorority house, and after failing to enter, noticed 3 women, members of the Delta sorority, walking around the Alpha Phi sorority house. Rodgers pulled up to them in his car and shot them, killing 19-year-old Veronica West and 22-year-old Catherine Katie Cooper, while severely wounding the third woman. Rodger then drove past a deli, shooting inside and killing 20-year-old Christopher Michaels Martinez, continuing his rampage through Isla Vista. Rodger shot and wounded several pedestrians from his car and struck others with his vehicle. He exchanged gunfire with police twice and sustained a hip injury. He then crashed his BMW into a cyclist and was found dead by police from a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. And then it just says here the aftermath, autopsy done on him, gunshot wound to the head. June 2014, Rodger's body was cremated and released to his family, who held a private ceremony and planned to hold a funeral in England later that year. I'm pretty pissed that they got him back. I mean, I know that's their son and everything, but I don't know. He was a bad seed. I don't even know what I would do because he can't go to jail. He's not alive anymore. I would send his ashes to jail. I'd be mad. I'm mad. I'm not even a victim in this. Me too, baby girl. The more and more I read about it, the more and more it's like coming back to me, and I'm like, oh my good golly, this guy was he was sick. During his attack, Rodger killed 6 people, all of whom were University of California, Santa Barbara students, with 14 others sustaining injuries, 7 by gunfire, and 7 who were hit by Rodger's vehicle. Man. So it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4 guys and 2 women. It says, this is his legacy. Rodger and his attacks brought the incel community to mainstream attention and were praised by young men around the world who identified as incels. Incels post tribute songs, and others distribute T-shirts with Rodger's image. Incels refer to Rodger as a saint and a hero, celebrating St. Elliott Day on every anniversary of his attacks. Incels also refer to Rodger as ER, and his mass killings have inspired similar crimes. When did Bryan Kohberger buy that knife? Was that May? Why do I feel like it was May? Wouldn't that be something if he bought it like on the same like St. Elliott Day or something? Wow. On April 23rd, 2018, 25-year-old Alec Minasian killed 11 people and injured 15 others in Toronto, Canada by driving a van into pedestrians. Before his attack, he posted on his Facebook profile, Private Minassan Infantry 00010, wishing to speak to Sergeant 4chan, please. The Incel rebellion has already begun. We overthrow all the Chads and Stacys. All hail the supreme gentleman, Elliot Rodger. Wow. 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 Okay. I'm going to blow my nose really quick. Sorry, guys. I swear the pollen around here has been crazy. Like it's like all over our back porch right now. I'm like, where did this come from? And why are you here? And my birds did leave and they never came back. Just to let you know, if anyone wants to know. Let's see. Okay, so this is the timeline of the murder spree. This one isn't very long. And then I have a video that I want to show you guys. That goes over everything as well. It has, what's his name? Dan Abram. It's 10 years ago, though. 10 years ago, Dan Abram. Looks the same. Looks the same. And then I do have his manifesto. I do have where I can show you where you can take, it's called the Great Courses. And you can take the Elliot Rodger like Retribution Day class through Kathleen Ramsland online. So I don't know how that really works. I'm about to buy it and find out. It's usually $169.95 and now it's $17.95. Now that I know that's probably one hell of a deal, right? Probably not, but we can go through it and we can look. So this is from May 26, 2014. So, according to a rambling 137-page manifesto titled My Twisted World, in which he told the story of his life and frustrations, 22-year-old Elliot Rodger was determined to wage a day of retribution against women. Last Friday, he began a bloody spree across the community college of Isla Vista, ultimately killing 6 students from the University of California, Santa Barbara, and injuring 13 others before killing himself once he was cornered by police. The following is a timeline of events. So maybe I can open this. That way you guys can look at this while I read through. So number 1, the rampage began with the stabbing deaths of 3 people. So at number 1, in the apartment that Rodger rented inside a 2-story courtyard building on Seville Road, fronted by palm trees. All 3 victims were UCSB students, and at least 2 of them, 20-year-old Chin Yang Hong and 19-year-old George Chen, both from San Jose, California, lived in the apartment. Police weren't sure whether the 3rd victim, Wilhelm Wang, 20, of Fremont, California, also lived in the apartment or was visiting. After the stabbing spree in his home, police say Rodger drove 5 blocks to the Alpha Phi sorority house. So number 2 is residents at the Alpha Phi sorority house heard loud, aggressive knocking for 1 to 2 minutes, but no one opened the door. The first 911 call was placed at 9:27 p.m. Rodger had left the door of the sorority house and within 20 paces encountered a group that included Veronica West and Catherine Cooper. As witnesses inside Alpha Phi Rodger shot and killed the 2 UCSB students. A 3rd woman was shot multiple times, but she survived. And then it goes to number 3. 2 blocks and 3 minutes later at a deli on Pardell Road, the suspect exited the vehicle and fatally shot 20-year-old Christopher Martinez. 4-foot patrol officers saw the suspect flee in the black BMW. We know that Bryan Kohberger's friend was Christian Martinez. This guy's name that he shot was Christopher Martinez. Kind of close. Number 4, at the top of the area called the Loop, the suspect fired rounds at 2 people on the sidewalk. Number 5, he then turned south on Embarcadero and east onto Del Playa. He brandished a gun at a woman there and then headed west on Del Playa. He began firing at a sheriff who was on foot. 2 deputies returned fire, and the suspect continued west on Del Playa. At the 6600 block of Del Playa, he hit a bicyclist with his car at the intersection of Camino del Sur and Sabino Tarde. The suspect fired multiple times at pedestrians, 3 of whom were hit. The suspect continued east on I cannot pronounce these roads' names. Sabade Tardade, and shot another victim. At 9:33 p.m., he continued east, where he came into contact with 4 officers and began firing at them. 3 of the officers were able to return fire. The suspect was shot in the hip. Wow. Within minutes. What was it? 9:20 something he started? The first call from 911 was placed at 9:27. And this was at 9:33. He was shot in the hip, and then he was found dead, with the gunshot wound to his head, because that's what the coward way to do. So ABC is really weird. I don't know. Nightline is always weird when you play them. So if right now, if here in a minute, you're like, where's the next 8 minutes of her live? Just fast forward. Because I'll just end up taking it out. Do you know what I mean? I'll just edit it out. So if there is a weird little gap here, that's why. But don't mess with me, Dan Abrams. But look how young he looks. So this is from 2014. I wanted to get you guys the date. This was 10 years ago. 1.8 million views. May 28th, 2014.
California Santa Barbara community is in mourning. The gunman who methodically planned the attack chronicled his descent into a deranged rage. How did this young man, who seemed to have everything, become a mass murderer? Tonight, we take a close look at the clues and his parents' futile race to try to stop him. ABC's Cecilia Vega is in Santa Barbara.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution. Is this the latest face of evil in America?
You forced me to suffer all my life, and now I'll make you all suffer.
An angry and psychologically twisted young man whose public rantings exploded into sheer terror in a quiet California community. Shots fired. Taking 6 young lives and injuring 13. 22-year-old Elliot Rodger, the son of Hollywood privilege, but sexually frustrated. A virgin vowing revenge in a twisted video he posted Friday addressed at his perceived enemies, young women he says rejected him.
All those girls that I've desired so much, they would have all rejected me and looked down upon me as an inferior man if I ever made a sexual advance towards them.
Deep delusions that would turn deadly.
I hate all of you. I can't wait to give you exactly what you deserve.
And tonight, the University of California, Santa Barbara shut down. Classes canceled, flags flying at half staff, a community in mourning. Thousands coming together for an emotional memorial service.
Look at that. I mean, does that remind you of, it reminds me of Idaho, outside. You might as well just put them all inside or outside. I mean, you know, they're all coming together. Like they are going to be having a band. They have like people talking just like in Idaho when they had the vigil there.
Service.
Let us cherish the moments that we've shared with them and be grateful to have had them in our lives as friends, as family, and as loved ones.
And now new details are emerging about Rodger's life. His parents divorced. His father, Peter Rodger, a respected director who worked on the Hunger Games. But their son, Elliot, lived his life as an angry outsider. A family spokesman telling ABC News Rodger had been in therapy from 9 years old. But this painfully shy young man creating on video what he couldn't in life.
I've waited a long time for this.
Is the killer's attempt to recreate his persona in a sympathetic way and in a way where he can get understanding, relevance, meaning, where his life has no meaning at all.
This was a plan years in the making, executed methodically. The apparent revenge fantasy set in motion Friday night at 9:17 p.m. Elliot Rodger's therapist calls Elliot's mother Chin, alerting her to an email from her son with a manifesto called My Twisted World. 137 pages pouring from this tortured mind, idyllic childhood memories, painful teenage years, and finally, an elaborate plot to kill.
He's so invested in carrying out the mass killing that he'll sit down and write and edit and re-edit something that amounts to 140.
He wasn't that short. I'm looking him up, but he's 5'9". 5'9". That's what I mean. Like, Vincent's 5'9". Wait, hold on. Now it says 5'7.5", but it says right here 5'9". So I'm gonna go with. Oh no, I'm gonna look up another one. Let's see what the third one says.
Pages. Make a variety of different videos and mobilize to a degree that this becomes a project, an ambition, a career path.
His mother, alarmed, checked her son's YouTube channel. Immediately, she called her ex-husband and they raced to Santa Barbara, saying they call police along the way. But it's too late. The first 3 victims already dead. Rodger's 2 roommates, James Cheng, Yuan Hong, and George Chen, along with their friend, Wai-Han David Wong, all stabbed to death in this apartment building. A death too terrible for George Chen's parents to even contemplate.
I just don't know why this happened to our son. It's crazy. This just doesn't make any sense.
At 9:27 p.m., the first reports of a mass shooting underway.
Shots fired. Just as soon as we heard the noise, it was so close and just so terrifying.
Rodger's next target, a sorority. He says to take revenge against all the girls who he believed rejected him.
After I've annihilated every single girl in the sorority house, I'll take to the streets of Isla Vista and slay every single person I see there.
This young man seems to have had a complete...
Well, that's a little above an overachievement, you know. Someone should have seen these flags, right? Well, 5'9" is kind of short, but that's my boo bear's 5'9". So, you know. Vincent, kill me right now if you know that. You're calling him my boo bear. He's 5'9". I think something like that. But it did say on here between 5'7" and a half, which that does sound like an Elliot Rodger thing. Like that does sound like something he would say. Like I'm 5'7" and a half, but it's either 5'7" and a half to 5'9". But I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like there are shorter women out there that wouldn't mind that.
Complete lack of skills and ability to interact with anybody, let alone the opposite sex.
He banged on the door of Alpha Phi. When nobody let him in, he shot 3 women around the corner, killing 2, Catherine Cooper and Veronica Weiss. But Rodger's rampage wasn't over. 9:30 p.m., he opens fire at this deli filled with students. Surveillance video shows people diving for cover.
I honestly thought that was my last moment. I thought I was going to die.
His final victim, Christopher Michaels Martinez.
I gave him CPR for 10 minutes before the paramedics showed up.
Our son was the most important thing in the world to all of us. He was our only child, and he was so much a part of our lives that it's hard to imagine how things are going to be like now that he's gone.
At the end, Rodger, driving in his black BMW, plowed down bikers and indiscriminately shot pedestrians.
Some guy ran in our house bleeding everywhere. He said he got run over by a car.
Nick Pasachuk was skateboarding with friends when Rodger rammed into him, sending him flying in the air.
Both his legs are broken. His left leg was completely shattered.
By 9:33, it was over. Rodger and police in a gunfight. The killer drives away, but then crashes his BMW, apparently turning the gun on himself. Police say they found 400 rounds of ammunition in Rodger's car, and that
I'm just going to say it. Like, if this was a gun, okay, he used that car as a weapon. He used that vehicle as a weapon. I feel like his parents should have been held accountable. If this was a GUN, which he's old enough, so I don't know how they would even work with that. But if this was a GUN and something like this happened, they would blame the gun, right? And the person, I mean, obviously the person using it. But with him using his vehicle, I feel like his mom set him up in that car, was like, here's a car, it's going to get you laid, son. And it didn't do nothing but get people killed. Or really, really hurt.
He carried out his shootings with legally purchased semi-automatic handguns.
Okay, you don't need that many handguns. I know I'm being dramatic, but I like to shoot a gun just as much as anyone else does. But I mean, really, how many handguns does one person need, really? Like, do you need 2 of the same one? Because he had 2 of the P226. I guess if one was black and one was silver, I don't know. You're a gun enthusiast, but now they're only showing 1 over here, but they did have 2. He did have 2 of those.
He was under psychiatric care. His parents saying they did everything they could to help a shy, reclusive son, even reporting his disturbing videos to police last month. Police went to his home, but say they found no cause to search it or order a mental evaluation.
Because of the narrowness of the law, danger to self, others, or grave disability, those officers acted in accordance with the law.
But in his manifesto, Rodger wrote, "If the police would have searched my room, found all of my guns and weapons, I would have been thrown in jail, denied of the chance to exact revenge on my enemies. Thankfully, that wasn't the case, but it was so close."
The problem is that we send the authorities, who are not mental health professionals, to check on this young man. And it takes a very trained eye and a lot of skill to decide whether or not this person is a risk to hurting themselves or hurting others.
His anger at sexual rejection morphing to misogynistic diatribes.
Girls gave their affection and sex and love to other men, but never to me.
And now, a worldwide outpouring, more than 1 million tweets decrying a culture that turns women into sex objects. #YesAllWomen, now fighting back.
Because every woman I know has experienced some form of sexual harassment, abuse, or assault, myself included.
And on campus tonight, remembering those lost, sharing the pain, and searching for answers.
If you agree that the people in Washington should hear that not one more person should have to die because of this ridiculous situation, then when I raise my hand, I want you to shout so loud that they're going to hear you.
Not one more. Not one more.
For Nightline, I'm Cecilia Vega in Santa Barbara, California.
A lot of people. A lot of people. You know? I mean, just like the one in Idaho, though. There was a lot of people in that one, too. Back then, we wanted to know why no one paid attention to their behaviors. Yeah. I have a bunch of red flags in the closet. I should get them out. And Ashley said, you can never have too many. I put in the chat, but it wouldn't let me put it in there. It blocks my comments sometimes. So if your comments ever get blocked, y'all, mine do too. But it said, I said, haha. I said, I do like shooting guns. I haven't shot a gun in a long time. But yeah, it's been probably 10 years or so. 11 years. He's laying the blame elsewhere. Yeah. They don't take accountability. And you know where we see it so much, Roxanne? We see it so much on this platform. You know, like, I mean, we really do. We really do. Let's see. So this is, I think this goes through his manifesto, like a little bit. I'll play this video for you guys. And if you guys don't mind taking a second and hitting the like button, it really helps the channel. Kind of asked you kind of late, but you know, that's fine. And if you'd like to subscribe, we'd love to have you. We did hit 20,000 subscribers last week or a few days ago. And I wanted to get some balloons and stuff, and then I just never did, but I might get them still. So hold on to your hat. I'm debating on whether to get some balloons or not. Because I think that'd be fun. You know, we need some like funness up in here. And I missed you guys. Yep. Yeah, I tried to. Okay, so we'll play this one. And this is like I know that there was one that went over the manifesto a little bit more. It's 140 some pages. And it does have, I mean, it talks about, like I was saying, it talks about a friend named Maddie in there. I didn't get the chance to read all of it, but I'm curious.
He titled it,
We may have to do that on another live, read through that.
A Twisted World. Elliot Rodger, the 22-year-old suspected of killing 7 people and injuring 13 others.
Me too, Kathy P. I saw that today. Prayers to her. I meant to say something earlier today. Take it easy, Kathy. Take it easy. I know she wants to get on here so bad, and she just, you know, but I can't believe she had 2 heart attacks. Oh my Lord. I hope she takes it easy, and I hope that she's able to just rest and not worry about. I know that's the worst part is just, you know, the money and the worrying of that kind of like stuff like that. And I hate that for her. Like, I hate that. Well, thanks, Southern-ish. I appreciate that. Thank you. Well, thanks to you guys. And thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate that. Yeah, we love Kathy around here. She got sass.
Before dying himself, possibly of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, tells his story of a life of starvation and yearning in this 140-page document. It chronicles how the more lonely I felt, the more angry I became, leading him to settle on a plan for a day of retribution. The details of the life story he published online are unverified, and it's not clear what of what he wrote is true or fantasy. Mr. Rodger was born in London on July 24th, 1991, to Hollywood director Peter Rodger and Lee Chin, who, when he turns 5 years old, relocate to Los Angeles. He describes his early years as one of the best periods. Life was fair and life was satisfying. At age 7, his parents divorce. His 9th year, he himself sees the seeds of his despair being planted, writing, "The time of fair play was at its end." He's the shortest child in his class and feels different from the cool kids who seem to be more admirable than everyone else. In an effort to be cool himself, he says he gets a skateboard. As a 6th grader, he attends the school dance, and some of the 7th and 8th grade girls offer to dance with him. All of the pretty girls had a peculiar habit of hugging boys they knew as a form of greeting, and some of them hugged me. I didn't understand why, but it felt like the best thing ever. But he says he's already been labeled as a quiet kid. It's 2002. He joins AOL chat rooms, which he says temporarily filled the social void. But at school, an incident happened that would scar me for life. He accidentally bumps a pretty girl. She cursed at me and pushed me, embarrassing me in front of my friends. It made him feel like an insignificant, unworthy little mouse. At age 12, he writes, he sees a pornographic video online for the first time. Finding out about sex is one of the things that truly destroyed my entire life, but I would never get it. Not getting any sex is what will shape the very foundation of my miserable youth. He acknowledges his world is growing darker. He writes that he starts to act weird and annoying to people just to gain attention and experiences more painful rejection. Being teased and ridiculed by a girl I had a crush on wounded me deeply. He says he didn't want to give any thought to it. That's why I immersed myself entirely into my online games like World of Warcraft. I felt safe there. At 14, he writes that he enters a Catholic all-boys school. He says he's bullied and called faggot. They threw food at me during lunchtime and after school. It enraged me, but I was too scared to do anything about it. At the same time, he's going through puberty. This was the start of hell for me. Going through puberty utterly doomed my existence. It condemned me to live a life of suffering and unfulfilled desires. He writes that his parents transfer him to a different school, where he recalls making this observation: the most meanest and depraved of men come out on top, and women flock to these men. Their evil acts are rewarded by women, while the good, decent men are laughed at. I hated the girls even more than the bullies because of this. He writes that he's taken out of the new school and enters a continuation high school, which operates like homeschooling, spending only 3 hours per day there. Then at 17, he writes that he visits a young man, a couple years older, who he says had been an exchange student in his father's house, describing him as the only popular young person who ever reached out to me.
Yeah,
the experience of being out with him socially really turned my whole world around. He writes that when he returns to California,
Hey, Elliot, I was the opposite. I was the tallest girl. Actually, I was the tallest student in the whole damn school at one point. Me. I did not like that. I did not appreciate that. Mom and dad. My mom was 5'6". My dad was 5'10", 5'8", right in the middle. I literally hit puberty, I don't know, 11, 12. And then I was just the height that I am now. I look even taller because I have a long torso and I have really long legs. So when I was a kid, I can understand that. You know, I could understand the feeling some sort of way. But you know what I guess I had that was different? My mom told me to embrace it. She said, Tanya, I would put on heels. She's like, that way when I walk into the building, like you're the first person they see. And then I started doing that and I wore heels for like years after that. I loved being tall after she told me that. But it did take a while to get used to. I mean, I was taller than the boys. I mean, after summer when they left, they finally all left. They came back, they hit their growth spurts, but it took them a good 6 months after me.
Senior year of high school, he becomes immersed in playing online games with 3 other boys. We had so many adventures in World of Warcraft as a group, and yet I felt like the outcast of the group because he says he found out the 3 of them would have meetups at one of their houses and not invite him. So he gives up the game and says he spends most of his time reading books about history, politics, and sociology. I began to have fantasies of becoming very powerful and stopping everyone from having sex. I wanted to take their sex away from them, just like they took it away from me. At 19, he writes that he enrolls in a class at another community college. His primary social interaction at this point is with a friend in his karate class. He writes, I thought that he would relate to me since he was also a virgin and had no girls in his life, but some of the things I said began to disturb him. One night he told me with a lot of distress that enough was enough. He didn't want to hear it anymore. Mr. Rodger writes that he moves to an apartment in Santa Barbara. There, his jealousy of his peers takes a racial tone in his writings. Ugly black boy be able to get a white girl and not me? At a Starbucks, he writes that he acts out his anger following out of the store a couple he witnessed kissing passionately. He says he follows them to their car and splashes his coffee all over them. Reflecting afterwards, it was around this point in my life that I realized I was capable of doing such things. I would happily do such things. I was capable of killing them, and I wanted to. In the spring of 2013, he comes across a website, a forum full of men who are starved of sex, just like me, he says. Many of them share my hatred of women, though unlike me, they would be too cowardly to act on it. He discloses for the first time that he was seeing a psychiatrist, but doesn't say when that treatment began or ended. One night, he says, he works up the courage after a few drinks to crash a wild house party on Del Playa Drive, a hub of off-campus life for students at the University of California, Santa Barbara. It ends badly. He says he got beaten up. He says his leg is broken. He turns 22. The details of his alleged attack are being planned. First, I need to buy a 3rd handgun just in case one of them jams. I need 2 working handguns at the same time, as that is how I plan to commit suicide. He Here's how Mr. Rodger ends my twisted world. Humanity struck at me first by condemning me to experience so much suffering. I will punish everyone, and it will be beautiful. Finally, at long last, I can show the world my true worth.
I was trying to type in the chat. That video went off too fast. I was like, what are you doing? I don't know if this is the same. Oh, no, this is the retribution video. This is the one where he's actually sitting in the car and he's talking the whole time. Okay. We'll play this one in just a moment. But yeah, people, you're ice cream. I like, you're absolutely right. You know, people often don't know your struggles or your thoughts. I actually, before the live today, I have like those like little carts that you could buy at like the craft stores, and they're like they have like 3 shelves on them. Well, I have one that my makeup is all on, and I pushed it into the closet and it hit my black, like thick cord, and it fell over right before my live. So Vincent was in here trying to pick it up for me. And I found my letter. I said, oh, don't let me see that, because I still have the letter that Reba sent me. She said if I'm ever having a bad day to look at it. And I haven't had that bad of a day. I'm waiting. I'm waiting on a real bad day to look at it. But I'll have to play this video for you because this was his retribution video. This is, I believe, from his YouTube page, but the New York Times or something put it out. So let's see if it'll play. It'll play.
Hi, Elliot Rodger here.
And I mean, I don't think the kid's a bad looking kid, right? It was probably most likely his personality. You know what I mean? It was probably the personality behind the guy. I mean, he's evil eyeing people that are with blonde haired women. Why don't you like the brown hair girls? I take offense to that, you know? Oh, only 4 more likes to 100. We could do that.
Well, this is my last video.
Do you think when he said that, do you think he really thought it was his last video? I don't know. I'm just wondering because, you know, I mean.
All has to come to this. Tomorrow is the day of retribution.
Wonder if he's on his Xanny right here. He looks like it.
The day in which I will have my revenge against humanity, against all of you. For the last 8 years of my life, ever since I've hit puberty, I've been forced to endure an existence of loneliness, rejection, and unfulfilled desires, all because girls have never been attracted to me.
You were 16.
Girls gave their affection and sex and love to other men, but never to me. I'm 22 years old, and I'm still a virgin. I've never even kissed a girl. I've been through college.
Not really.
2.5 years. More than that, actually.
No, you kept leaving.
And I'm still a virgin. It has been very torturous. College is the time when everyone experiences those things such as sex and fun and pleasure. But in those years, I've had to rot in loneliness. It's not fair.
Almost like the way Bryan talked about himself, like he's a worthless sack of meat and stuff, you know? We don't like whiners. We don't, PB&J. We don't.
You girls have never been attracted to me. I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me.
Because you're sitting there waiting for us to come up and say hello to you. How do you know that there has never been a girl that's not been attracted to him? You know, he just sits at the Starbucks and waits. He sits at the park and he waits. He's just waiting.
But I will punish you all for it. It's an injustice, a crime, because I don't know what you don't see in me. I'm the perfect guy. And yet you throw yourselves at all these obnoxious men instead of me, the supreme gentleman. I will punish all of you for it.
I'm sorry. I know this guy did some really messed up things, but if this got sent to me, I would laugh. That's how, I mean, I wouldn't take him serious. Good thing people do. But He literally I would probably if this was my kid and I was seeing this video, I would probably say he ain't gonna hurt nobody neither. I mean, look at him. The way he's talking, he's talking like some villain, like on purpose, you know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't get it.
On the day of retribution.
Like this to me doesn't look like someone's cracking like crazy to me. Like this that does I don't get this from him. Like I don't see someone like going over the edge. I just see someone making a really bad video.
I am going to enter the hottest sorority house of UCSB.
Oh, so that was the hottest one?
And I will slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up, blonde slut I see inside there.
Just the blonde.
All those girls that I've desired so much. They would have all rejected me and looked down upon me as an inferior man if I ever made a sexual advance towards them. While they throw themselves at these obnoxious brutes. I'll take great pleasure in slaughtering all of you. You will finally see that I am, in truth, the superior one, the true alpha male.
But you're not.
Yes. After I've annihilated every single girl in the sorority house, I'll take to the streets of Isla Vista and slay every single person I see there. All those popular kids who live such lives of hedonistic pleasure while I've had to rot in loneliness for all these years.
You're 22.
They've all looked down upon me every time I tried to go out and join them. They've all treated me like a mouse. Well, now I will be a god compared to you. You will all be animals. You are animals, and I will slaughter you like animals. I'll be a god, exacting my retribution on all those who deserve it. And you do deserve it, just for the crime of living a better life than me. All you popular kids, you've never accepted me. And now you'll all pay for it.
Wow.
Girls, all I've ever wanted was to love you and to be loved by you. I've wanted a girlfriend. I've wanted sex. I've wanted love.
He wouldn't have been happy. Nope. Nope. I bet you if some cute little college girl with brown hair walked up to him and said, "Hi, my name's blah, 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 and I think that you're cute. Would you like to go on a date?" He would probably say, "Get away from me, you filthy, vile woman. Like, you're nothing. You're not blonde. You're not blonde enough. And you're not with a man."
Affection, adoration.
And his car's unlocked right now. I wish somebody would have just maybe came up and opened his door. Because BMWs have real small locks like that. Mm-hmm.
You think I'm unworthy of it. That's a crime that can never be forgiven. If I can't have you, girls, I will destroy you.
That California sunlight, though, I'm telling you. Maybe he was, baby girl.
You denied me a happy life. And in turn, I will deny all of you life. It's only fair.
That's not fair. They didn't do anything to you.
I hate all of you. Humanity is a disgusting, wretched, depraved species. If I had it in my power, I would stop at nothing to reduce every single one of you to mountains of skulls and rivers of blood. And rightfully so.
This ain't a game.
You deserve to be annihilated. And I'll give that to you. You never showed me any mercy, and so I will show you none.
And the difference between him and Kohberger, if true, if Kohberger is the alleged unaliver, he did actually make it inside the sorority house, unlike our dude over here, Elliot Rodger. And he actually did get up close and personal and unalive people, unlike our friend here, Elliot Rodger, that just shot people and then ran over them like Grand Theft Auto with his vehicle. He didn't want to be that close to somebody. Because if he got that close, they probably would have snatched him right up out of his freaking little BMW he had. Yeah, he's been watching too many movies.
You forced me to suffer all my life, and now I'll make you all suffer.
Right, baby girl?
I've waited a long time for this. I'll give you exactly what you deserve, all of you, all you girls who rejected me and looked down upon me and, treated me like scum while you gave yourselves to other men. And all of you men for living a better life than me, all of you sexually active men, I hate you. I hate all of you. And I can't wait to give you exactly what you deserve. Utter annihilation.
Man, wow. He's something else, isn't he? The last thing I was going to show you, well, one of the last things was Catherine Ramslin here. You could buy her video, instant video, it says. And then, I don't know what that noise is. Oh, it's that. Okay, I'm like, well, I don't know what that noise is. But it shows you like the course overview. She has some reviews. They're not the greatest, but it's down here. Retribution Day Killer, Elliot Rodger. You can get, I think it says up here, average 36 minutes each. And they are just like her, I don't know, her talking about each killer. So it's just like, what can we possibly learn from studying the psychological motives behind some of modern history's most notorious serial killers? And he's not really a serial killer. He was like not even a mass unaliver. He was like a spree killer because there was more than one spot. And it was more than 3 victims or something they were saying. So the underlining under page 118, I'm going to read out his manifesto and see if this, rings any true, or, if we hear anything in it that would, so that would prove that maybe Bryan Kohberger was looking at this manifesto, because they could have called it a book and it could have been a manifesto, but or it could be one of Dr. Ramslin's books, or it could be just a Goosebumps book, an R.L. Stein book. Maybe he likes to read those, a cooking book. We don't know, but I want to know. I'm going to start in this second paragraph because I don't think anything would probably be up here, but we'll see. After a spring season spent in absolute despair while other young people lived healthy lives of sexual pleasure, summer arrived. Summer is, why am I reading it so small? Oh, get over. Where'd it go? Okay. Summer is even worse than spring, especially in Santa Barbara. Flocks of hot young girls go out in their shorts and bikinis, further tantalizing my sex-starved body every time I look at them. Knowing that they gleefully show off their desirable forms, yet they would never give me a chance to be their boyfriend, only increased my already boiling hatred towards all women. I could not leave my apartment without seeing at least a few of them. The only place I could go where I could be at peace was the lake park in Goleta. I spent a lot of time there trying to establish a sense peace and serenity. Whenever my loneliness in Isla Vista became too unbearable. As I looked at all the beautiful trees around me and the towering mountains in the background, I wondered how a world so beautiful can be such a dark and cruel place. Indeed, a beautiful environment is the darkest hell if you have to experience it all alone while other men get to enjoy the company of women. I had nothing left to live for but revenge. Women must be punished for their crimes of rejecting such a magnificent gentleman as myself. All of these popular boys must be punished for enjoying heavenly lives and having sex with all these girls while I had to suffer in lonely virginity. It was already June, and I have been living in Santa Barbara for 2 years, 2 whole years. I lived in a college town full of young, attractive students who partied and had sex all the time, and I didn't get to experience any of it. No one invited me to parties, and in all the times I went out by myself to Isla Vista, none of the beautiful blonde girls showed any interest in having sex with me. Like, I would just hate to be around this person. Not one girl. These are crimes then cannot go unpunished. The more I thought about it, all these injustices that were dealt to me, the more eager I became for revenge. It's all I had left. I didn't want to die, but I knew that I had to kill myself after I exacted my revenge to avoid getting captured and imprisoned. For a while, I had been deciding on whether I would exact my retribution in Isla Vista or at Santa Barbara Community College. In both places, I had suffered greatly in the hands of everyone there. I have seen attractive couples walking around in both places, and those were my targets. I wanted to kill as many attractive young couples as I possibly could. After a lot of thinking, I came to the conclusion that the day of retribution will take place in Isla Vista. On one weekend nights, the streets of Isla Vista are always flooded with young couples and good-looking popular kids walking to their parties. What better place is there to exact my retribution on my enemies? Every time I walk around Isla Vista trying to meet girls or fit in with popular kids, I've always been treated with disdain, as if I'm an inferior mouse. On the day of retribution, the tables will indeed turn. I muse to myself, I will be a god, and they will be animals that I can slaughter. They are animals. They behave like animals, and I will slaughter them like the animals they are. Okay. It came to a point where I had to set a date for the day of retribution. I originally considered doing it on the Halloween of 2013. That is when the entire town erupts in ruckus partying. There would literally be thousands of people crowded together I could kill with ease, and the goal was to kill everyone in Isla Vista, to utterly destroy that wrenched town. But then after seeing footage of previous Halloween events on YouTube, I saw there were too many cops walking around. It would be too risky. One gunshot from a cop will end everything. The day of retribution will have to be on a normal party weekend, so I set it for sometime during November 2013. Did he end up doing it in November 2013? Do we know? No, it was May of 2014. Yeah, it was May. Okay. Because I was like, now that's a date. Oh, I couldn't do that. I wouldn't want to be by myself, Ladybug. I want to talk to someone. Okay. Yeah, baby girl, I can understand that. The world is a scary place. Oh, I don't know. I always leave the comments up there forever. Who is that? Someone comes in. I think it's Bill Long. And Bill Long has been a part of the channel. I think he was one of my first members. But he'll come in and out of nowhere and he'll drop memberships and he'll say, "Hey, how you guys doing?" And then bye. And I'll always I'll highlight it, and then he'll come back in and he'll be like, "Tanya, can you unhighlight my name?" And then I'm like, "Oh yeah." So that's Elliot Rodger. Just wanted to give you a little bit of info about him. Maybe we will go over his manifesto sometime, because there's documentaries and everything else on him. Now, Bryan Kohberger has court tomorrow, sealed hearing, a little sealed. Don't want to tell us nothing. It's fine. That's fine. It is it's discussion regarding role of victims. And then order sealing defendants proof of alternates perpetrators. He said, "Bring me the evidence." So Ann better have brought him some evidence and not that glove and been like, "I want to test this now." You know what I mean? No, we ain't going backwards. We're going frontwards. And I know that this judge is going to say that too. I don't know, Real McCoy. I think he kept just switching places, like schools, and like he was just trying to fit in wherever he could fit in. Yeah, right, Wolf. Yeah. I don't think he tried either. It is hard to meet people. My counselor told me, now I don't know if you I don't know how much we should trust her over there. But no, she told me to try like there's an app and it's called Meetup, and you can meet up with just like women. Just like do like you could go and just like meet up and have like a cup of coffee or something like that. I don't know. Maybe that would help. There needs to be like a girlfriend app, like where you can meet girlfriends, where women can meet other women for friendship. I'm about to make me one. I'm about to make that app. His parents did know Real McCoy, and it seemed like they were trying to get him help, but it was like they weren't getting him the right help. You know, like they were just, someone was failing there. Someone was definitely failing. But it was good to be back. Was on here for 2 hours and 20 minutes, y'all. That's a long time. My dog is back here snoring. Oh, I got one back here. Oh my gosh, Mia. You should see her face. Like, you are such a big dog. How'd you get that pillow? The pillow's on the floor over here. I don't even ask questions anymore. I don't ask questions. Are you doing okay back there, Rodney? She's doing okay. I call her by her first and last name. I mean, first and middle name. Thanks, Wolf. I appreciate that. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. It was a lot of work, but we did it. Those last five people, those were the 5 hardest. I was like, well, y'all just subscribe. You'd be afraid to meet someone online. I don't know. It just seems, Roxanne, like that's what everyone's doing. And like, I even asked my counselor, I was like, what do I do? Just go to the grocery store and stare at people like Elliot? You know, like, because I don't know a lot of people, like the town that I live in. I've lived here for years. Didn't really make a whole lot of friends. I mean, I met a couple people. I did have a really good friend. But I mean, just work and stuff took us away from each other. So thank you, Ladybug. I appreciate that. They paid for therapy and they put them on a benzo. I know. For a year. They did that to me when I was 16, and that was not good. It was just not, you know, like don't put people on that hard of medication. Hey, Cash. We'll tell you about that tomorrow. Okay. Well, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I'll be back on tomorrow. We will talk about something. Maybe we'll hear about the sealed hearing. Maybe Judge Hippler, okay, maybe this evidence is going to be so astronomical, right? Out of this world, that they're just going to let Bryan, they're going to cut him loose tomorrow. They're going to say, oh, yep, alternate suspect. That's what it is. Yeah, benzos were not. Well, he thought they were. He had some the day he did all this. Kathy, I would be too. I've been on benzos and I'm actually on them, but not on them. I take half of what I'm supposed to take. You met your husband on Facebook? I met Vincent on Twitter. I mean, on Twitter. Tinder. Twitter would have been maybe better. Actually, I don't know. Twitter's pretty ruthless. I don't know. They probably were a little strange. I want to know what the love in that household was like, you know? It's very weird. Very weird. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I do appreciate it. I'll be back on tomorrow evening, 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to come on sometime this week and do like a members live during the day too. Just like, you know, members only live. And yeah. You think she's going to try to delay? I don't think she's going to be able to. Even if, because he was pretty much like, when she said she had too much evidence, like discovery to go through, he's like, you've known this for 2.5 years and you didn't hire in and, you know, people to help you. You didn't ask me for help. Like pretty much like, you own your own, girl. And you know, if that was us, we would have looked through all that discovery. I don't even care how many terabytes or whatever it was. We would have looked through it. Yeah, he's had it with Ann Taylor. Yeah, he's not messing with her. But thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, you're off the next 2 days, is she? I'll give you a call. I'm gonna go tomorrow and get my nail fixed because it was broke when I went in, and then I thought he was gonna do some magic stuff and like just glue it down. And then today it kind of popped up and I was like, nope, we ain't doing this. We're not doing that. So I'm going to go get it fixed tomorrow morning when I wake up. But thank you guys for being here tonight. I appreciate you so much. I will be back on tomorrow evening, like I said. And if anything comes up, I'll let you know as soon as I hear about it. I'll see you guys all later. Bye.
Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far.